Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a little while. Vagran Gaming back here again to try to get back into the swing of things with recording and editing and uploading some videos of Star Wars The Old Republic, with most likely a focus on PvP. So just a couple of things to get out of the way. I've been taking a break, I think it's been about a year, but I'm bad with dates and haven't looked at a calendar. So, obviously, I'm very much out of practice. Another thing is, the gear grind continued off since I left. And this character, not only am I out of practice, but I'm pretty sure his gear is mostly, well, it's a couple of pieces of 230s and then everything else is significantly worse. So, I know that I'm not going to be doing a ton of damage or anything like that. I'm mostly trying to shake off the rust and get back into things. You know, get back into playing with the team. I was very fortunate in that I found a good group of people to play with, which is a huge help. I just happened upon bumping into the guild leader of the Republic Alliance and the Imperial Alliance. They've basically got guilds set up in Republic and on the Empire. So I've got some fun people to play with, which is great. So this particular match, I didn't want to upload it per se because I thought my performance was anything special or that I had any educational value to pass on to people, but mostly because I'm pretty sure my guild leader is in here on one of his alts, and by the time the match ended he said, you know what, I'd like to watch that one again. So here it is, and hopefully that will become apparent after a little bit. So there's a couple of things that I would like to share with everybody. You know, took some time off just to take a break from the game. Played some Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. There's a couple of videos of that on the channel. Then I happened to trade away some of my stuff because I was going to be moving, and took the money and went ahead and picked up Destiny 2 The Forsaken and got the season pass, played that for a bit, had some fun. Thought about uploading videos of that, but I'm not really great or even all that good at all at first-person shooters. It's just more of something that I was doing for fun, and didn't really think I had anything worthwhile to share on that, but who knows, maybe I'll throw up a video or two just for fun. So after all that was said and done, I was sitting in my chair one day and thought, you know something? Lethality Operative was a lot of fun. I want to do that again. And here we are. And I'd forgotten that of all the classes I played and got somewhat comfortable with, that was one of the trickier ones. And in fact, when I loaded the character up again, on the Empire side, this guy I had leveled up, but I never really used him once he got to max level. I mostly used him on, I believe it was Iocap, just for gathering materials for crafting. So like, even before I stopped playing, I'd lost a lot of my experience with playing this class. And obviously the gear is another situation that I'm slowly trying to rectify and wrap my head around how the numbers work for that. And yeah, so like I definitely got done and dusted as far as the gear grind goes. But I understand Bolster is supposed to bring you up to a certain point so you can compete, which is great. If not for that, I would be having a very bad time. So right now, you can probably tell if you've been watching any of the older videos, my user interface is a lot different. I first came back and played a couple of matches before I even subscribed, just trying to see, is this what I really want to do? Like, do I really want to get back in the game? And, you know what? Overall, the gameplay is fun. A lot of the reason why I took a break, I was just starting to get frustrated about the way the gear grind was set up, and then they added these new augments. The process of getting said augments was like a pain in the neck, because mostly what I enjoy doing is meeting up with some friends and playing some PvP. That's primarily what I enjoy about the game, and it was just looking like the optimal way to try to chase after these new high-end augments was going to be more trouble than it was worth. But some of that might have just been me being unreasonable about it with my own negative attitude. And I used to always tell people, like, the gearing system with this whole RNG in the bag thing, like opening crates and getting random garbage, which usually you don't need it or want any of it, it doesn't bother me if I don't think about it, and I just happen to have a couple of bad weeks where I could not stop thinking about it. And then I was like, you know, I'm just going to take a break. And I did. But I think most of my reservations about that have calmed down, so now I can just do what I really like to do, which again, get some friends to team up with, do some PvP. So just in case this is the first time you've seen a video on this channel, well, first off, thanks for checking it out. Second, what I'd like to focus on is trying to make my videos a bit more educational as far as the commentary goes, and it's mostly for the benefit of either A, players that are new to the game, or B, people that are trying out a new class for the first time. That's kind of what I tried to focus on. Oh, Orange Crush tried to save me, but I died. So anyway, like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by being shot to pieces. It was that I try to make things educational, mostly catering to those two groups, but in general, you might, in general, find it entertaining just because what I like to do is, once I get back in the swing of things, I'll say, these are the decisions I'm making in this match, this is why I'm making it. If I make a mistake, I'll say, alright, that's a mistake I made, I should have done A, B, or C, and hopefully that can be of some benefit, or at the very least, be entertaining for you. It's going to be a little bit before I can give any kind of constructive criticism on my own videos. And also, one of the other things that I do like as a side benefit is there's been a couple of times where I've posted videos that were like a guide or some tips and tricks for people to learn a new class. And there were a couple of times where some of the people who watched it said, hey, you got it wrong, you should be doing A or B. One of the biggest things was when it was a virulent sniper. Some of the viewers were really generous enough to hop in the comments and point out a mistake I was making about, I forget the name of the ability, but it replaces your charged burst like skill. And they pointed out that shooting two of those does more damage than one of the other abilities I was doing, and it changed up the entire way I played. And after reading those comments, I hopped into a war zone, tried it out, and they were 100% correct. My damage went up. So one of the other things I do like is about how it can be in like an exchange of ideas. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to offer something you can learn from, and it's very possible you can offer something I can learn from. And when it comes to playing like the Scoundrel operative classes, I most definitely have a lot to learn. But hopefully it'll be just as challenging and fun as it was trying to learn how to tank. So right now my focus is I'm trying to focus on just 3 characters for right now, and we'll see how it goes. Lethality Operative was the class idea that wanted me to come back into game on this particular match. Obviously I'm on the mirror class, the Dirty Fighting Scoundrel I believe it's called, and some guild members were like, hey, why don't you pop in rep side and join us? And I figured I'd love to. But I will probably be playing imp side a bit more, at least for a little bit. For the overwhelming majority of the time when I was playing before, I spent pretty much most of my time on the Republic side playing a gunnery commando Zarya. And I recently went through the process of getting my mirror of that on the Empire side. I think it's called an Arsenal Mercenary. I got him geared up to 70, sent over all the gear I could, and loaded into a couple of war zones. So what's planned to be uploaded in the near future is got some operative videos, got a Juggernaut skank tank, a mirror for Shamma. Shamma was fun to play. He was the guy that was heavily inspired by Blade from the comics. I'm going to have some videos from that, and, the Lethality Operative. So Lethality Operative, I'm probably repeating myself, pardon me. The tank, Guardian tank, or the Juggernaut tank, and, the Arsenal Mercenary. Probably try to bump between those 3 just because I've got more experience playing the gunnery style. So to hop back in, even on a mirrored alt and play, it's fairly straightforward. I remember most of everything. The only other trick is to get back into the habit of keeping in mind when my abilities come off cooldown, because there's a couple of points in time where I'm playing a class where I haven't even cleaned up my UI yet on this guy, but I'll be tapping a key to do something and I'm like, oh, it's not going off, must be on cooldown. Crap, what do I do next? But hopefully that ring rust will come off relatively soon. So, this is the thing in this match. If you were following the scoreboard, there was a bit of back and forth. We had some trouble there. That healer, which I forgot to call out earlier, Elisa, I'm pretty sure I've come across them before, and I probably teamed with them a million times back before PvP was cross-faction. I'm pretty sure we teamed together a fair amount of times. And I remember them being very skilled before I went away. So now that I'm coming back and I'm rusty, I'm assuming they've been going strong this whole time. There was just, I had no chance to take them down. Especially on this class that I'm not super comfortable with. And the match didn't quite look like it was going to go our way at first. And this is one of the spots where things started to look up for us. I hung back at the node just because there had been so much pressure being put on our native pylon that it seemed like a good idea to hang out, especially since at the time we were able to get a double cap. It just seemed like the safer idea was to stay here. And here we go. And again, I'm not expecting to be able to take this person out. I'm just going to put the dots on, chase them around, try to put on some pressure. But fortunately, they didn't see the point in staying in a 2-on-1 and took off, and well, it was about time to leave anyway, so I chased after him. I did notice one mistake I made there was I probably should have tried to apply the slow a lot earlier, but given this person's playstyle, they probably had it set up that they would break any movement impairing effects when they hit their 4 speed, most likely, but it would have been tactically more sound to try to hit the slow when they were a bit further away, just to delay them getting back to mid, because when the pylon explosion goes off, your first priority isn't to do damage or anything like that, it's to get to a safe area so that you don't, get taken out in the explosion. But live and learn, which is part of the fun. Like, I was tempted to look up some guides and look up some videos to see how other people play, but I usually wind up at the very least of getting the basics back down, learn by doing. So, putting some pressure on the sniper here, got the dots applied, and I'm still getting back on track with what order I should be using my abilities in, as far as figuring out when to use my primer shot, when to use my blaster whip to keep the stacks built up. Because unless nothing's changed, when I've got the equivalent of tactical advantage, having one of those up gives you a slight buff to your damage. So what I was trying to do is just constantly keep one stack of that in reserve, and only use it when I'm about to burn someone down, where it's like if they have a sliver of health left, go ahead and use up the last one for your wounding shots, put them down, and then it'll refund itself. Didn't quite work out too much, and I keep messing it up, but it's part of the process. So now, as you can see, we've got a bit of a fight going on at our pylon here, and hopefully we've got a decent amount of pressure going on the opposite side, because if we don't, this isn't going to go so great. And I kind of felt bad that I wasn't able to do more damage to help out. Like, I'm doing some damage, but it's spread out, it's, to a degree, it's fluff damage. Like, if I was on my virulent sniper, if I, was still comfortable playing the class, which right now I am not. I did like 1 or 2 matches with him, like, ooh, this was a mistake. Because I'm basically a glass cannon. Like, I can do damage, but if I get any pressure at all, I usually die fairly quickly. Whereas before, I used to be able to defend myself somewhat reasonably. And so like a lot of the damage I'm doing is so spread out, it's not really significant. But what I'm hoping is get my gear straightened out, get the class, get comfortable enough on it playing it where I'll be able to do some half decent damage. So we've got one pylon, and now it's just a matter of seeing if we can hold them off. And I'm pretty sure that's past the point of no return as far as this round. You need 6 seconds to cap, so once you can hold off to that point, you're pretty much safe to take off. So I'm popping my dodge, which is, if one of the nice things about this class is, as far as if a commando starts to like tunnel in on you, you can pop your dodge and avoid their most dangerous ability, which is like the upgraded full auto. I gotta learn all the names again, I apologize. It's probably a little obnoxious. And I do know if you're playing like the concealment version, that whenever you use your roll, you get like not only dodge, but I'm pretty sure you get some tech immunity for a couple of seconds. You don't get that when you're playing the dot version here, the dirty fighting version, but you still do get the dodge. So a lot of times I'll use dodge to try to avoid full auto, just so I don't get ripped to absolute shreds. And that's like usually one of my first moves. It's like, it is nice to play different classes, because as you learn how their offense works, you know how to better defend yourself. And so a lot of times if a commando comes after me, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I need to, full auto is the main thing I don't want to eat. Like, I don't want to eat a full auto. on any class, unless, you know, I'm playing a tank and there's a healer covering me, then I'm not as concerned. I tend to notice it more too when I'm playing the tank, as far as like getting tunneled by them. But anyway, I've been rambling enough. So I hope you enjoyed this match. I'm pretty happy we pulled it off, and there's going to be definitely more matches to watch in the future, so stay tuned.